It's going to be an easy day here today. All right, so we are going to go ahead and go over what you had before. So if you remember correctly, you had the prompt, and you had two documents at which to go ahead and read, get an idea about, and be able to create an answer for this prompt, which kind of was going to function like your thesis or your argument. And then you were going to take evidence from a document using parenthetical citation, all right, and take them from both documents in order to support what you were doing. Now, remind me, guys, we did number one together, didn't we? We did number one together. All right, that's
Yes.
confirmed.
Yes.
All right, cool. So that means we can move to number two. Now we didn't do this one together, did we? Oh, okay. So we didn't do this one. But you guys, everyone already turned this in for homework. What I want you to do is do this. My last class seemed to find this helpful. What I'll do is I will go ahead and show you my answer, provide you with my rationale on the screen, and then as I'm doing that, if you guys want to put yours in the chat, or you should have yours out, checking your work, making sure that you follow the same kind of format. All the formats should be the same. You should have the thesis or your argument, evidence piece number one, evidence piece number two from either of those documents. And make sure you have the parenthetical citation. So I'm looking at this, and it says evaluate the cause of the rise of nationalism throughout the world during the period 1750 to 1900. So take care when you look at a thing like this. You're evaluating the causes of the rise of nationalism, not evaluating nationalism. Okay, so I'm hoping you're looking at this and being like, hopefully I did that right way. Evaluate the causes of the rise of nationalism, not nationalism itself. Sorry, I just spit out my gum there, y'all. Getting in my way. So document one looks to be a French Revolutionary War song. And as I was reading it, and maybe you guys can back me up on this, it seems like it's trying to establish some sort of identity. Like talking about the fatherland, your armed citizens. So it seems like to try and be unifying the French people against somebody else. Okay, is there anything in particular in this document that you could say like, yeah, this shows that they're definitely struggling against somebody else? Anything in there that you guys can see? Waiting for hands either here or in online. Go ahead, Kai. Yeah, against us cruel tyrants, they've raised their bloody flag.
To
Yeah.
attack your children and your fields.
Oh yeah, so somebody's definitely coming to attack your children and feel shy. I see you in there too as well. Okay, so this is like almost like a us versus them sort of thing. All right, that's pretty straightforward. I could dig that. I then go to document 5. It seems to be it's a member of a Tokugawa family. He's an advocate for reform. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, seems like Japanese society's got, I'm using my outside knowledge here where they've established their kind of rich culture on their own. But it seems like he's arguing that we should open up trade. Did you guys get that with your readings? Because it seems like he's arguing that we should, because if we don't, we're always going to fear the outside. Like men have shown fear merely at the coming of a handful of warships, foreign warships. Is there anything out there that would maybe we can maybe connect it with the first one? Like,
It says be able to go against foreign countries.
okay. So it seems like again, it's against foreigners. It seems like Japan is trying to make sure they're strong enough to take on the foreigners. So I'm connecting that in my brain, y'all. I'm like, okay, first one, us versus them. Second one, us versus them. Okay, so that's immediately where my brain's at. So I'm starting to think Okay, how can we answer this question now? The causes of rising nationalism is that us versus them kind of mentality, that identity that we are German or we are American. Freedom, bacon, cheeseburgers. Sorry, now I'm hungry. So my answer should be something like that. And I see somebody put theirs in the chat. I'm gonna get to yours as soon as I'm done explaining mine. Let me go ahead and show you my stuff. Hopefully it'll get there anytime soon, you know, with the great internet we have with Broward County. Let's go down to number 2. Okay. So what I put for this was, here is my thesis. Right there, if you guys can see it on your screen. Nationalism arose in countries around the world at this time as a result of national leaders invoking promises of danger or threats around which to rally. Leaders were often able to successfully unify their people and create a national identity. There's my thesis. So that's one of the causes of the rise of nationalism, that they kind of created their own sort of identity of what is Japanese, what is German, what is American. So that identity is kind of what it's about. I then back it up. You saw this in France, where the French Revolution leaders called out people to join the French cause against cruel tyrants. So I cite that. Again, you could see parenthetical citation here at the end. As well as in Japan, where Tokugawa members, in support of reform, called the Japanese people to continue or to support government efforts to engage with the world and modernize society, or they would face the continued threat of danger posed by foreign countries, and that's in document 5. So overall, your answer should have this same sort of thing. We have the answer, your argument, one document worth of support, second document support. You guys have that same sort of format on yours. It looks like Rakai is nodding, a few people nodding. Psalm is like, I don't know about you talking about, man. Clayton, how about you? Yeah, hopefully have that same sort of thing. So that is how I did it. Let me check how you guys did it. Let's check Favor's answer. She sent it at 11:43 if you want to check in the chat. Causes of the rise of nationalism: the need to keep their country, to the citizens of the country and not outsiders. Okay, in France, the song was made to signify the French people would. And in Japan, the Tokugawa family complete their military. They can go back to foreign nations. So, okay, so she does have the correct format, ladies and gentlemen. Favor has the correct format. Now, one thing I would say is that, remember, we're talking about, well, I guess you kind of touch on it. You don't really say it, but you don't really bring in isolationism in a way. Like, you kind of describe the process of isolationism, but don't really say it. So if you can, make sure you use those vocabulary words next time. The more big words you used, the better it is for you guys. Again, this doesn't mean to bring a thesaurus somewhere and just use big words ever. Just use the vocabulary words from our content. You know what? For your argument, I think you actually make this work here, Favor. I think you do a pretty good job of making sure you support what you are trying to argue. And this is why I love DBQs, y'all. When you read hers, she's not arguing the same thing as me. Okay, she's not. However, she is still using the documents to support what she's saying. And we did that example in here with the report cards, right? Did we do the report card example in here? Oh, man. So this is why, like, I love DBQs. You know when you get a report card and you have, like, 4 A's and 1 C. When y'all go home, what do your parents usually say?
You could have done better.
How you got that C? What'd you get lazy in that class for? Are you a lazy student? You're better than that. So they're looking at the document. Follow me here. They're looking at the document and they're pulling evidence from the document to argue what they want to see. They're arguing you're not a very good student right now because you got that C. Here's the evidence. Look at that C. But you can use the same document and be like, Mom and Dad, I'm actually an excellent student. Look at all these A's that I brought home for the hardest semester of the year. Look at that. And you can see these A's. Look. So you're using the same document to argue something completely different than your parent, but you both have evidence to back up your claims, don't you? You both have evidence. They have evidence because they're looking at the C on your report card. And you have evidence to back up your claim that because there's a bunch of A's. So that's why I love these DBQs, because me and Favor, we have different answers, but we successfully argued our side. So she would get the point. She would get the points for this. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, I'm glad I'm hearing it over there. When I go through the recording, it's going to be like, yeah, no one said anything to you, Mathos. Good job. Let me check and see if I can see any other answers. Oh, Verkaya put hers in here. Let's check. Let's pick on Verkaya now. She's smiling over there in the corner. She knows I'm not going to pick on her. She crazy. Period 17th round. Yeah, you kind of seem like you're going everywhere with the format of what we're seeing here, because she goes in, she gives what I think is going to be her thesis, and then she kind of does a really quick summary of kind of like doc 1. You know, like not too much detail there. It's kind of like a really quick summary, and then she launches into something else, like changing it to an isolationism almost in a way, and then talks about identity there at the end. It seems like you kind of jump from all the different parts of nationalism here. Okay. Gotcha. So you seem like you were trying to go for all the causes, examine everything. Okay. When you got, so if you were, she didn't unmute when she said that. So, you know, it just looked like I was looking off into space for a little bit, guys. I'm sorry. She's at fault. But she kind of hit on a kind of a normal problem with DBQs. We're trying to answer, bring in everything, when in fact, if you read this, evaluate the causes of the rise of nationalism. Just because it says causes doesn't mean, remember, you're using the documents to back yourself up. In those documents, your job was just to kind of choose one, because you're evaluating which one was most prevalent maybe in those documents. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of took from here, here, and here, because you're like, okay, I can find and make arguments for all this, when in fact, all we need to do is make one argument and back it up with a little bit from each, one statement, one piece of evidence from each of those documents. So I think you just overthought this one. Yeah, kind of, it's okay if you don't. Like, we're here to practice. We're going to do number This is number 2. We're going to do number 3 and 4 together too. This is what we're doing the entire class period, just making sure you guys get as much practice in this as you can. Because later on this week, we're going to go into analyzing documents, and then we'll go into actually writing a thesis, like full on doing straight thesis practice. So don't worry about if you guys aren't immediately getting this. Okay. Can we move to the next one? Are we ready to go to the next one? We good to go? Hey, Julie, you okay, man? You seem a little low energy today. You falling asleep? Look, man, my little girl had me awake at like 3 o'clock and then 5 o'clock. Like right before, you know when you get up right before your alarm and you're kind of mad because it was like I could have had another half hour. Yeah, that was me this morning. So I hear you. I hear you. I'm looking around like, does anybody have any coffee around here? But I don't. Yeah, by the way, guys, you know what the worst thing about these masks are? Like, I don't mind the mask because of safety. But you ever been like prior to COVID when you were like smelling something bad and you were like, wow, did somebody crack one off or something like that? Or somebody's breath stink or something like that? Well, now when you smell something bad, you know it's you or your breath. Yeah, you can't look around anymore. Look at your dang self. All right, sorry about that. That was me venting for a second. It's the reason I don't drink coffee in the morning. You imagine coffee breath all day with this mask on? Ugh, terrible. All right, going to number 3. All right, did you guys want me to do the same thing I did last time? Give my answer first, my rationale, and then you guys do yours? Or do you want to go first? What might help you guys more? You guys want to go first? No one's saying anything. Wow, this is just like me talking to a wall. Like a mime in here. Okay,
You go first.
I'll just stare at you guys then. Wow, Rakaya's in my class. She could have just said that to me, but she decided to type it. All right, now we're getting some responses in here. Okay. So when I look at this, using the document provided, evaluate the extent to which Christianity changed societies in Latin America in the period 1500 to 1800. I love these prompts, okay? Because it's actually like, it started off as one of the harder formats, but now since I know how to teach it, it's become easier. This prompt is telling you that Christianity changed societies. Your job is not to argue just how it changed societies. It's how much did it change societies. And it tells you, evaluate the extent to which Christianity changed societies. We know it changed it. We know it. But how much did it change? So when you see to the extent or the extent, that means your answer to this must be what changed and how much did it change? You guys following me here? It's not just what changed, you have to add in how much did it change? Did it drastically change? Did it greatly change? Did it not really change? Did it only slightly change society? You get what I'm saying here, guys? You have to put a qualifier to it. Last class, I had a student that did not understand what I was talking about. Like, what do you mean, like, how much or something like that? Really simple. Do today. I'm gonna punch you in your face. Okay, but I just punched you in your face. See that? Feel that imaginary hit? Boom. Punched you in your face. Okay? It hurt. We know that. We know that it hurt. Okay? But how much did it hurt? None. He said didn't feel like none. Didn't hurt at all. But you see how he's qualifying it. Or maybe he may say, oh, it hurt a lot. Oh, it felt like my mama hit me back, or what is it that people get back with? She smacked the color off me. What do y'all say? There we go. Look, it's one of those things where we qualify things. How much did that person hurt your feelings? Oh, they devastated me. You know what I mean? Oh, they cut me to my core. That is how we qualify things.
I understand it better now. Yes.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, like, it's not the easiest thing to understand, but once you get it, it's like, you know, your answers say what changed, but how much did it change? Well, this greatly changed Christian society or Latin American societies. What? You got it wrong. It's okay. First thing you need to do is just get better at it, and that takes practice. Let's find out. So my answer is a little longer for this one, but I could provide you with something that's really straightforward. Okay. So my answer is a little bit longer. Let's see. There's my argument. Okay. That is my argument. You keep getting dropped. Look, you can see me up here. It's okay. Don't worry about it next time. So in some Latin American societies, the arrival of Christianity resulted in local populations adopting some parts of Christian theology. Theology is just religious teachings, as it blended with their native belief systems, which they refused to completely abandon. This syncretic way of expressing their beliefs was often looked down upon by Catholic Church officials, and these people were persecuted for maintaining some of their previous religious experiences, even as they adopted some Christian teaching. That's my long version. You want to hear something that's just as good and is shorter, and you'll still get the point for? Another easy way to say something like this is that, again, to the extent, while the arrival of Christianity greatly changed society for some members of Latin America, for others, their religious beliefs were not altered. So you could say something like that and still get the thesis point. I just added in a little bit more detail there. All right. Yeah, with me so far? I'm getting some nods over here. I want to get some virtual nods.
Yes.
All right. My support for it. In Mexico, a Catholic priest wrote about this when he described local Amerindian populations worshiping the Lord and sacrifice and performing sacraments, even as they continued to hold nature veneration and animal sacrifice prior to the arrival of Catholicism. So it seems like they're sitting there doing all the Christian stuff. Hey, nomine Patri, Filio, Spiritus Sancti, while cutting a goat's neck. Well, y'all never heard that before? That's like the old school way. I know, in the name of the Father, Holy, but in nomine Patri, Father.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're still kind of doing some of what they contend, well, what was their religion, while they combine it with that. And then that's in document 3. Again, you see, you must put that. This account was reinforced by Native Americans themselves, who testify that even as people in their village were making confession with Catholic priests and worshiping in churches, they continued to sacrifice deer, dogs, and other animals, just as they did prior to Christianity's arrival. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I cut the goat. I killed the goat. So that's my answer. Let's start looking at the ones you guys are putting in the chat. Ooh, I got like 3. This is excellent. I like it. Ooh, favor. Can y'all scroll up and check out favors? Like it was sent at 11:58. It was after Alana said, "No, I don't want to go first. You go first." I really like her thesis. I like her argument there. In Latin America, Christianity changed societies, but not as much as the Spaniards had hoped they would. Instead, natives mixed their ceremonies with some aspects of Christianity. Oh, wait. Should we do the snaps? Is that like what is that, coffee shop style? Yes, ma'am. Excellent one there. In Mexico, the natives live too far. They don't perform sacrifices. Yeah, document 3. She uses document 3. In Oaxaca, Mexico, the Native Americans would confess to their own. In document 4, yes, that is great. I almost like yours better than mine, Favor. Great job there. All right, let's tear apart Rakayas now. I'm just kidding, Rakaya. Actually, good. No, seriously. Like I asked some girl earlier, and they had not won this past weekend in some sort of trial, and they were like, "Oh, but we lost." And I'm like, "Well, did you learn something?" Yeah, well, yeah, we had to do this, this, and this. Losing right now is learning, and that's what y'all need to do. Okay, so Christianity's extent on changing societies in Latin America in the period was adamant but ineffective in the way that it could be used for conversion. I'm not sure I get what you mean. I like what you said right there better than that. Now, because remember what she, and I wish she would have unmuted, but she forgot again as usual, you know. But I'm sorry, I like picking on you. You're awesome because of it, and because you said Mr. Lamar was better than me, which we know is false. Um, what you said right there was more detailed, and you explained yourself better. Like I understood that versus what you were trying to say there. So sometimes what you can explain in your head is better than what you put on paper, because the AP readers will only read what's on the paper. They're not going to try to say like, oh, what was she trying to say? You know what I'm saying? But I like that. That would be a good one. And she still references in document 1, which is good. And she says in document 4, I do like the parenthetical citations because it does stand out to the AP readers more than saying like according to document 1 or this, this, and this. So try to get in the habit of, if you need to, put the parenthetical citation anyway. Just put it there. Other than that, you support yourself. From what you told me from here and what I'm reading, you support yourself. So while your thesis was a little wonky, once you explained it, you supported yourself. Good job. All right, Shaya. Christian. All right, so Shaya, I like what you say immediately, but remember, to the extent. So how, it's not that we know that it changed societies, but we need to know how much and what changed. In this case, you're talking about what changed was the blend of religion. So you're just missing like Christianity mostly changed societies and religion due to the change in religion causing a blend, something along those lines. But you need to add the how much sort of aspect to it for you to really get every single bit of that answer there. But I get what you're trying to say. Specifically in Mexico, they blend. Oh, your support is really good though. Like, listen to this, guys. Specifically in Mexico, they blend I can't even pronounce it because my words are wicks and I'm going knucking futs. Y'all will catch that later. Specifically in Mexico, they blend idolatrous ceremonies with good holy things and perform the holy sacraments while at the same time making sacrifices to fire by sacrificing hens and animals, venerating God and their holy mother and saints together with their idols. It's a good, great, a really good mix of detail there. And then the second one is sacrificing deer, lighting candles, but then also blending spirits of nature with Christianity. really good support. A little bit better on the thesis, and you've got it. Are you guys seeing this? And I know some of you guys are not putting it in the chat. It's okay. I know it's like, it's like raising your hand in class. Some of y'all never do that. All right. Any of y'all, I feel like you don't raise your hand ever. You raise your hand in class ever? Yeah. Like the first day when I first came back, he was like in that corner. You participate, right? Sometimes. All right. Thank you. All right. So does anybody have any questions on this last one, or any comments, concerns, anything like that? Clayton, how we doing over there? Like, I haven't heard a word from you right now. You good? Like, you kind of catching on? Is it kind of sticking a little bit? All right, look, I gotta trust you guys. We're gonna go to number 4. Okay, this one. Using the documents provided, of course, evaluate the range of African responses to European imperialist actions. I found this one to be pretty straightforward. Now, the reason I found it to be straightforward is because I think you guys get tripped up by responses. The word, like, how did they respond? And some of you guys immediately always go to, oh, they responded positively or negatively, or they responded with war or peace. Like you immediately go to the opposite end of the spectrums. But remember, there's a lot of responses that peoples can have with this. Kayla, I appreciate that. And we'll continue to keep doing examples to keep doing this. This will be the last one for today, but I'm also going to offer you guys extra help. And I'll show you that before the end of class. So what other kind of responses can they have besides, oh, this is great, Europeans are coming here to take my land? Or negative, like, oh, let's grab the spears, let's grab the guns, let's go to war. There's more responses than that. And that's what the documents here are showing us. So this first one, Emperor of Ethiopia, when I'm reading this, and you guys can help me out here, does it seem like he's obviously Christian himself, right? I mean, clearly, I'm looking at this. He's talking about the all-powerful and things like that. He's definitely Christian. But what does he seem to be doing as a response to the European imperialists coming in and trying to take his land? What's he kind of doing here? Seems what? Hopeful? Hopeful that what, though? Hopeful like, hey, the Europeans take my land. I'm hopeful that you guys are gonna be awesome for us. Yeah, so like God will protect him and his country. He's kind of in denial, like, oh, God is gonna protect him. Be all right. So for me, this screams that some people had a religious response. Like they turned to God to be like, hey, the Europeans are coming here. They're gonna be doing different things, but let's just pray to make sure that we get back our land. Like Shia just said, hopeful Christ will give him back his land, and be faithful. So immediately in my mind, I'm chalking this up to a religious response, or a praying response, or anything like that. I'm just kind of putting a little note there. I'm going to go down to here. And this is a German military officer. So now it's an outsider. This is not an African saying this. This is somebody else from the outside. This is why sourcing matters. And we'll get into that later this week. The source of this is a German. And he's like, all right, chief spread it among the people that a spirit in the form of a snake had given magic medicine to a medicine man. Medicine man. If I'm thinking this is a German saying this, he's probably talking about like a village shaman, like their holy person. And it looks like they're going through rituals, and that they believe that this medicine would give them invulnerability. It would strengthen women and children. So as far as I'm concerned, What kind of response is this again? Yeah, Berkaya, excellent. Seems like another religious response, except not a Christian response, but a more shamanistic, an African religion response. And that leads me to my answer, which is actually pretty straightforward. In this case, my answer was just, in addition to resistance, many African leaders also turned towards religion as they responded to imperialist action. So you can see resistance. There's one of the ranges, resistance, like war, battles, things like that. Some turned towards religion as they responded to imperialist reactions. That's it. That is my entire thesis right there. Again, I'll be looking for your answers in the chat, but does this seem like the documents agree with that, Clayton? Yeah, we're okay. Julie, you think that's actually... So then I kind of go into in Ethiopia, rejected, saying he believed that, God would protect Ethiopia and everything if any European nation kind of came in. Again, parenthetical citation, that's document 2. Also appeared in German East Africa, and I make sure at the end to kind of point out they were not the same religions, but they used religion to respond to European imperialism. All right, so this all kind of ties together fairly well. Let me check the chat. Okay, so favor, starting off. The range of African response to European actions differed from peacefully telling the Europeans that God would protect them to saying that a medicine was going to save them. Okay, so you're kind of bringing in both sides there. And again, she's not kind of, arguing the same thing as me. I kind of summed it up to link both documents, but you don't have to in this case. And it looks like, let's see if she supports herself. And then protect her in the future. Yeah, so it looks like favor, supports her answer. Supports her answer with stuff from the documents. Seems like you got this down, favor. A-okay job there. Let's check out Shaya's. Africans responded to European. There we go. Shaya looking like she's on the same wavelength as I am. There's strength in the coast. That says document 2. And this mirror what happened in the German military. Oh, wait a second. So I think you messed up with document 7 there, Shaya. This wasn't in the German military, but it was this last document. This is why reading carefully is important. This last document is an account of a German military officer, but it's talking about what the Africans were doing. So that's a little different. You kind of get what I'm saying there, Shaya? So a little messed up on that last document right there. No worries. This is why we read critically. We read carefully. But I understand what you were trying to say here, just the words didn't quite match up. You still got a good idea right there. Still supporting yourself. Not too bad. So that's number 4, everybody. Do I have anybody else that's typing in the chat, maybe their thing or wants to share it? I'll wait a few minutes here. But as I'm waiting, are people starting to see what we need to do with these documents? It's, I see some nodding of the heads. But what are some questions? Any questions before I kind of like launch into a little something real quick? No questions over there. Any questions? Yes, sir. Yes. And sometimes not all the documents are going to carry that, which is why you see some DBQs are longer than others. Because you know how they say a paragraph is one kind of main idea? Like you're talking about one topic. Then when you switch topics, you should start a new paragraph. Well, a real DBQ has 7 documents. So you're probably not going to have 7 documents that all tell the same thing. So maybe documents 2 and 4 match up. That would be one argument, one part of your argument. That would be one paragraph. And then maybe documents 6 and 7 and 5 match up. And you could pull something that matches from there. That would be the second paragraph. So you can see how, like, yeah, you're reading critically. You're trying to find ways to answer the prompt with the documents. So with that being said, ladies and gents, I don't see anybody else putting their answer in the chat. For those of you that are staying quiet for whatever reason, either self-consciousness or you're just saying like, yeah, I don't like Mathos that much, I'm not going to say anything. It's okay. Here, in case you just want to get a little extra practice and you want me to give you feedback, all right, this is the one I'm going to give you express written feedback on if you want it. Here's the one we just did. DBQ practice day 3, using documents to support an argument. Say some of you guys are still having a hard time understanding the documents. Either just reading historical sources suck, you know, maybe just you're terrible at it. If you go, again, back down into, you know, my website, and you know where to go, because we've done this the last 2-3 classes. You're on the website. Nope. And if you have internet, apparently school internet, thank you, Broward County. Come to those DBQ skills practice area, okay, and the document-based question part. And in this skills practice, you'll open it up, and this is where you got your homework. If you want me to help you with understanding these documents a little bit more, and if you want to do this, come down right beneath your homework. DBQ practice day 3 is DBQ practice day 2, and that's understanding the documents. If you want to do this one, or just do even 1 or 2 of them, and then send me an email with it saying, hey, Mr. Mathos, I did this. Can you just give me some feedback? I'm down. Okay, anytime. So that's, again, not graded. It's the same kind of thing. You have your prompt. You have your documents that go with the prompt. And all you got to do is to tell me what is in that document. Because maybe you're just having a hard time understanding documents as a whole. So let me help you if you want to. Again, I can't force you to do it. It's not a grade, but I will provide you with feedback. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Unless some of you guys have questions, we are we're done here, ladies. We're done here, gentlemen. Yeah, we look, I want to make this easy. We can email it to you anytime this week. Yeah, sure, Alana. If you want extra practice on those kind of like just understanding documents, please email me anytime. Okay, and as soon as I can get to it, I will get to it and provide you with feedback. So no one's saying anything, so I guess we're good here, guys. Oh, wow. You're welcome, sir. See you later, guys. You guys got a little bit of time to just maybe prepare for testing.